Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of VoC Myth Busting with myself, Darren Wake. I'm head of customer success at Customer Sure, and once again, very, very happy to be delighted to be joined by Ian Golding. Ian, welcome, and hi again.
Hello, Darren. Lovely to see you again.
Yeah, likewise. So, for those of you that haven't watched these before, the format is very simple. Actually, we try to put Ian on the spot by giving him a statement. Is it a myth? Isn't it a myth? And these are all totally a surprise to Ian. Ian has no idea what we're going to ask him, so it's just kind of unscripted and. We try to make it as challenging as we can for Ian to answer these questions.
My
And
hands are shaking today, Darren.
yeah, well, good. That's what I like to say. We're ramping up the pressure each episode we go. So, if you haven't watched these before, we've done quite a number actually, me and Ian, and they're very well received, and we think they're extremely useful as well. So please do check them out on the links below, and obviously your engagement and comments, future myths or not, to put to Ian. Greatly appreciated. So, Ian, this next one here for this episode. So, fast customer service is better service. Customers primarily value speed.
Oh,
So
it's an interesting question.
it's kind of a little bit vague, that one, but I thought I would kind of leave it there. And
That's an interesting question, and again, not necessarily a question that surprises me. Um, and I think this is a question that I'm going to ramble a bit before I give you my conclusion.
okay,
Um, there is no doubt, in my opinion. So obviously, whenever I answer these questions, it's my opinion, and as you will always say, Darren, people are welcome to disagree with me. Um, we live in a very fast-paced world. We all know that, and speed is important. Um, Recently, I had an issue with an airline. Um, will I name them? Yes, I will name them. So I flew to the US and I booked my tickets with KLM. Now, KLM are part of one of these alliances. So even though I booked my ticket with KLM, only one of all of the flights was on a KLM aircraft. So I had to, it was very complicated, but to get there, I had to take three flights, one with KLM, two with Delta. And on the way back, it was only two flights, both were supposed to be with Delta. To cut a very long story short, my first flight on the way back was delayed because there was a problem with the aircraft. So I missed my connecting flight, but I knew I was going to miss the connecting flight before I left. And so I tried to get a resolution. What am I going to do when I get to JFK in New York? And it was horrible. So the people in the airport had no idea what to do. And they told me, there's nothing we can do. You need to contact KLM. Okay. You didn't book through Delta, you booked through KLM. So to cut a long story short, I sent a message to, now KLM have a WhatsApp channel for customer service. I sent a message to KLM, please help me. I need to know. Now I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to set you a test here. How long did it take them to respond to me?
well, okay. A WhatsApp channel. Great. WhatsApp, the new emerging channel that's used very successfully by a number of businesses, actually. How
Yes,
long did it take them to get back to you? And I'll just caveat this by saying not an automated reply, but actually,
a human.
a
Yes,
human reply, a human
yes.
reply. Um, 10 minutes?
More than 24 hours. I didn't get a response
Ah,
until the following day.
goodness.
Now, so and I want this to be really a demonstration of why that question that you've asked me is an important one, because it does depend. Now, for me, WhatsApp is a channel where there is an assumption. I know we should never make an assumption, but there is an assumption that it's live. That you're going to get an instant response.
Yeah, hence my
Or,
answer there, actually.
or if
Yes,
not,
yeah,
I mean, an instant, again, you can define instant
yeah.
in whatever way you want, but a relatively quick response, especially depending on what kind of business you're interacting with. If you're
Absolutely.
sending a message to an airline, it's a time-bound issue.
Yeah.
It's not something that, you're not ordering I don't know, a pair of jeans. This is something where there is going to be a time-bound issue. So, in my opinion, speed is important, but actually, so there is an irony to what I'm about to say. What's more important than speed actually is resolution.
Mm.
So that I won't go through the whole KLM story, but there was no resolution, and actually that's even worse
Mm.
to me, but because it ultimately ended up me having to deal with the issue myself when I got to JFK, and it ended up with a resolution that wasn't ideal, but ultimately I got home.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, but this is quick and really worth it. Are you tired of manual processes and never getting to what really matters, which is actually taking action from customer feedback? Well, I think you'll find this really useful. Customer Show's new AI-powered text analytics feature, where comments are automatically tagged, sentiment applied, and you get clear actions of where to prioritize your efforts. Now, click the link in the comments to get more information and really check it out. Now, let's get back to the video.
It took another 2 months for me to get refunded for all of the issues and various other things, but it was painfully slow. And so I think speed in general, my response to your question is that it's not a myth. Speed is important. Because we are living in a very reactive but instant world, people do expect to get a response quickly. And if you're offering multiple communication channels like WhatsApp, that just increases people's perception that a response is going to be quick. So, and what we must not forget is that humans are having interactions with so many different organizations now that if they're getting instant communications from other industries, they expect that with everyone. So if you're communicating on WhatsApp with your mobile phone provider and they're getting back to you instantly, you then have an automatic assumption that everyone should be doing that. So if you are not able to offer a response quickly in 2025, then you either need to make it very clear how long it's going to potentially take, or don't offer channels where there is a perception it's going to be quick. But despite what I'm saying, so it's not a myth, speed is important, but resolution is even more important. Fixing the problem, fixing the issue, resolving whatever the query is the most important thing of all. And there are some very historic examples, actually, of queries taking hours to resolve, people being on the phone for 10 hours. But ultimately, it was resolved. Resolution is the most important thing of all. But speed connects to a very important word, the important word being accessibility. Speed connects to accessibility.
Yeah.
The quicker you interact, the easier it is to do business with you. And the easier it is to do business with you, the more likely it is customers will want to keep coming back to you. So, has this put me off KLM? Yes. Now because I travel a lot, I have quite a high status with KLM, which is why I use them. But actually, since that incident, I haven't used them. So it does make you think twice. So, we need to think about how easy is it to do business with you? Because if it is not easy enough, there's lots of competition out there. And if someone is a lot easier to do business with, you run the risk of your customers switching to them. So, very long-winded response to your question, but it is not a myth. It is true, but resolution is the most important thing.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ian. You make a really interesting point there about customer expectations and how that has shifted. And I've seen some interesting research about this. I don't know if it was through the ICS or someone similar about the expectations and how that's shifting by generations as well. And
Yes.
particularly with digitalization, and we're seeing obviously more millennials enter the marketplace, and the new, people born in the noughties working with us, which is bonkers and crazy in its own way. But the expectations have changed again.
Well,
And
and it's interesting actually because you're right, but there's also, I think, an issue with silver surfers.
indeed.
Because this is a huge generalization, but the older you get, there is a likelihood that there is even less of an understanding of the way technology works. And so if a more mature person sends a message, has an inquiry, and doesn't hear anything straight away, then there is a risk that they think there's something wrong with the technology.
Yeah.
And then what they're then going to do is pick up the phone.
Yeah.
So actually what that transpires into is unnecessary cost. There are so many elements to this, but you're right. I think the change of demographic, younger people just expect instant anyway. More mature people, that they're not quite as sure as to how these things work. It's a bit of a minefield, but it's why easy to do business with is such an important thing for people to consider.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. And as part of ease is setting expectations as well. And WhatsApp, hence my answer earlier, you think WhatsApp, you are expecting a relatively quick response,
Yes.
not something 24 hours later.
No.
You'd expect that maybe on an email, but
Yes,
not
that's
WhatsApp.
right.
So,
Exactly.
and then if it's going to take them that amount of time, you need something on there that the average response time or the response time is, 4 hours, 8 hours, whatever it might be. They probably haven't put that on there because it looks rubbish. But then if that is what
But for them
customers
to then come
experience,
back 24 hours later and say, I can't help you.
yeah, that's really bad. Well,
it makes it even worse.
oh dear, poor form KLM actually. Well, pleased you got home eventually, Ian, but
Well,
I can see that experience wasn't very nice.
as I always say, Darren, that these things aren't quite so bad when it's business. If that had been holiday, I would have been spitting.
Well,
Mad.
same thing. I'm thinking the same thing. If you're there with the kids and and you're eating into your holiday time, anyway.
Yeah.
Ian, always a pleasure. Thank you for joining us again for that episode of VoC Myth Busting. Brilliant tour de force once again.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. So thanks everyone for watching. So do engage with the program. Leave comments on LinkedIn or on the Spotify channel, or indeed on YouTube, and we'd welcome your agreements, disagreements, thoughts for future questions to put to Ian. Leave them in the chat, and do actually like and subscribe to the page as well. If you follow the links to do that, that'd be wonderful. Ian, finally, thanks again, and look forward to seeing you for another episode soon.
See you on the next one.
See you later.